What's up, ladies? Welcome back to my channel and happy Halloween week. We are going to be diving headfirst into spooky season today. I even have my pumpkin coffee with me, and then we're going to be doing a Halloween makeup tutorial. So I did learn special effects makeup and kind of some stuff like this in cosmetology school, but it's definitely not my expertise. So I brought my friend Brianna in with me today. She works at the salon with me. She's one of my really good friends, and she also does a lot of my photography, so both of our Instagrams will be linked below. Go check us out. And yeah, she definitely has a lot more practice in this area than I do, and so I wanted to give you guys this look, but I wanted to make sure it's done right. So do you want to get into kind of how we started doing Halloween makeup?
Yeah. So I obviously started out in makeup in general. My mom, growing up, my mom was very tomboyish. She doesn't do her hair, doesn't do her makeup, so I kind of had to learn on my own. And then I started dating my boyfriend about 4 years ago. Our anniversary is actually on Sunday. But his family is super into Halloween. So we like to dress up. Their family does their house, and we essentially turn it into kind of like a live haunted house for all the kids to come trick-or-treating. We all scare everyone. It's a good time. So I don't prefer to wear a mask on my face all night, even though it might be warmer being in Illinois. I just don't prefer to have my entire face covered most of the time. So I turned to YouTube and just started learning and practicing more of the Halloween side and special effects makeup. So over the last few years, I have honed my skills and used it to create my own looks kind of based on what I have learned and researched so far. So I am going to create kind of a glam but creepy look on Jenna today. So it's gonna have lots of sparkle, lots of glam to it, especially around her eyes, but then we're gonna give her a real creepy looking smile as well to kind of up that factor for Halloween. So what I already did is we had Jenna prime her face off camera. She started out with the Ciate London line. It's their Watermelon Burst Hydrating Primer.
And yes, we did have to Google how to pronounce that.
Absolutely. I definitely didn't know how, and I wanted to make sure it was right. But yeah, it smells like watermelon. It's very hydrating. It's one of my favorite primers. And I actually use this first, and then I go in with the e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer, and it's just a white oil-based primer, and I usually apply this with more of a thicker foundation blending brush. This thing is just fat, compact, and has a lot of bristles to it, so it just helps make sure you get that nice even coverage with this primer.
And you can tell, like I can tell already on my face that it does feel like super smooth. Like it feels very like fresh and almost a little bit dewy, so you can tell it's gonna be really good for the foundation to stick in. It feels really nice on my face already.
All right. So to begin, I am going to start out with just evening out Jenna's skin tone with a foundation that is much lighter than her skin. So the idea today is just to pale out her face, but I want to give her just a nice even base to start out with. So today we are using the Maybelline Fit Me, the matte poreless foundation. It's in the shade Fair Porcelain. It is 102. I typically take the cap off and I will dab what I plan to use onto the back of my hand.
So I'm just gonna clip my hair up out on my face so that it's easier for you guys to see and also easier for Bree to apply, because otherwise
helps get into that hairline a little bit more. And typically with foundation, I like to go in with a beauty blender. We don't necessarily need the best all over coverage because I'm gonna go in with a white paint over the foundation. So I'm not worried about, typically I would usually wet my beauty blender just to get a little bit more of an even coverage. It blends a little bit better, but right now I'm not necessarily worried about that. So I go in and I dab the back of my hand, and I'm gonna start down at the bottom of her face and work my way out and down. dabbing as you go. I know generally when I do my Halloween look the day of Halloween, I generally allot like 3 to 4 hours just because one, I'm a perfectionist and that way it allows me enough time. But because it takes just a little bit more precision, especially if you're going in and creating that more open, creepy looking smile. It just takes a little bit more precision as far as your hands go. Alright, so now that we've gone in with the foundation, I am actually going to go in with one of these lovely little Halloween palettes that you can find at a Walgreens, Walmart, Target anytime around this time, or anywhere around this time, I'm sorry. It's just one of these little colored palettes. I'm going to go in and use the white, and we're going to use it to white out Jenna's face a bit more. And I'm going in with a smaller version of what Jenna used for her matte primer. It's just a very much smaller, compact brush. And again, when going in with the white, I don't necessarily have to focus on being perfect with it. Generally, for Halloween looks, you don't have to be as precise with your base, just because you're usually going to go in and I'm going to overlay a smile on top of her lips. So around her mouth doesn't have to be perfect. Same thing with around here. I'm going to go in with black and contour. So you don't necessarily have to be perfect with it. Again, same with the foundation, you want to drag it backwards onto your ear and downwards onto your neck just to blend the look out. So next we're going in with setting powder, and I am using the translucent setting powder by Ciate. It's just a nice white translucent powder. It's not going to add any color to Jenna's face, and it's just going to help set the foundation and the white cream makeup that we just overlaid.
Ooh, that smells nice.
I think this is the watermelon one as well.
Oh.
So this stuff actually is their watermelon primer, or their watermelon setting powder. It pairs really well with the primer. They're both watermelon and smell delicious.
Yeah, it smells like candy.
And I'm just going in. I am using a smaller, fluffier brush. I just wanted to use one of my brushes that didn't have any product on it. And I'm picking up as much of the powder as I can and just packing it onto Jenna's face because this grease cream makeup is a bit thick on your face, so I'm just making sure we're setting it as best as we can. And always remember to set anywhere that you have put the makeup, including your neck, your ears, your hairline, all of it.
So am I just like pure white right now?
Not pure, like you have a little bit of like your red undertones peeking through a little bit.
Perfect.
But it gives you almost like that half and half. Like you look like you're dying versus
Oh, okay, so I'm not dead yet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're getting there, slowly but surely.
Killing her slowly.
Is that Beyonce?
I think it might be. Slowly.
No.
No, is it Alicia Keys?
Because what I'm thinking is in Countdown, killing me. Wait,
Yeah.
Kill Me Softly, right?
Yeah, I think it switches.
Killing me softly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be Alicia Keys.
I think you're right.
One person too.
I think you're right. Because my next guess was Rihanna, but that's definitely not right.
Unless it's old enough to be Ashanti.
Who the?
You don't even know. Oh my God, she doesn't even know. Or how do you know who Aaliyah was?
Aaliyah? Yeah, I do know who that is.
She was the one who was killed in the plane crash.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No?
Yeah, Aaliyah a while back is like when I was like young.
Kobe Bryant, rest in peace.
Right, yeah. Pretty like same, she was with her entourage, I believe. Well, it's because they were on a smaller private plane.
Oh.
So like with those and the helicopters that
Copter.
like wind and
Wait. How do you make that noise?
the
Yeah.
All right, so now that Jenna's face is set and ready to go, I'm gonna go in with a Wet n Wild. It's just a black eyeshadow, simple little single eyeshadow pan,
Yeah.
I guess you would say. I just found it in their little Halloween section that they usually put out every year. And I'm going to go in with a fluffier, smaller blending brush that you would generally use for your eyeshadow. I'm gonna use a smaller one than I would usually do for a regular contour just because it's gonna help me create a little bit more of a refined look. And then I can take this and brush it out and kind of buff it out a little bit more. And I'm starting more so closer to the hollow that she's creating with her fishy face currently. I start and create a little bit of a line to take some of the shadow off the brush, and I'm taking it in small circles and buffing it out up and back towards her ear. If you want to turn towards the camera. So you can almost see where it's creating this line, and I'm taking it and almost curling it ever so slightly upwards because it's going to line up with where her smile lines are. And then just make sure you take it up and blend as far back into your ear and hairline as you can. Like how pale you look?
No, I don't. I do not.
So now that we have hollowed out Jenna's cheekbones and created that undead contour, I'm going to continue with her contour as you would normally. So I'm going to go up into her hairline, and I'm going to create a little bit of that shadow, and then same thing along her jawline. And again, same idea. You kind of want to apply where you might want the black the deepest, and take the brush in small circular motions and just use whatever's left on the brush to buff it out and move the black eyeshadow around.
I already look terrifying. Go make some little kids cry.
And now that I finished her forehead, I'm just going underneath her jawline and doing essentially the same thing. So you kind of want to create the line and then use the brush to blend it out.
AKA getting rid of double chins. A lot of these steps, even though they are for like the Halloween tutorial today, you can bring these into your everyday makeup look. Obviously just like a normal bronzer and your normal foundation instead of using like these products, but a lot of the tips and tricks will kind of correlate even into a normal everyday or a normal glam look. So these same spots that I'm contouring on Jenna are typically the same spots that most everyone contours to create a little bit more of that slimmer face shape. Just helps define your face a little bit more. So essentially kind of the same thing, except you would just use a bronzer or a more tan powder. Anything that's just a little bit deeper than your normal skin tone.
All right, next we're gonna go ahead and begin Jenna's eyes. I am going in with one of my favorite lines as far as eyeshadow palettes go. I am using a couple different palettes. They're all by ColourPop. I have their Bare Necessities palette. It's just a warm, neutral palette. And then I'm also gonna go in with It's My Pleasure. It's a purple-based palette. So we're going more for like a purple, glam, sparkly eye look. And then we're gonna add the smile in to make her creepy. And then when I get her eyeshadow all done, I'm going to go in with the ColourPop. It's just an all glitter pan palette. It literally should sing when you open it. Yes. I'm gonna go in with the one on the top right. It's a very purple, sparkly, glittery shadow, and we'll just lay that all on top of her eye once I get the base done. So to begin, I'm going to go in with a fluffy crease brush. It has plenty of bristles to it. It helps blend out your shadow. I love using it for your crease because, again, I don't like to pick up a lot of color. I like to use what is already on the brush and just use it to blend out. I am actually gonna go in with, there's a slightly purple shade. It's called Act a Fool, which is perfect, I think, for Jenna. And then you always want to, after getting the color on your shadow, always make sure you tap off the excess. I'm gonna go in starting on the outside of her crease, and in a windshield wiper motion, I'm going to just blend this in. And I am going to bring it all the way into her inner corner, almost to where you would bring your normal contour on your nose. The excess and take on the outer corner and just blend out a little bit and take it and blend in just to help create that base underneath. One thing I have learned is do not be afraid to bring your eyeshadow upwards. Those with smaller eyes, or if you have more hooded eyelids, this will help open up your eye and help be able to see your eyeshadow look a little bit more.
I'm pretty sure the last time I had purple eyeshadow on, I think I might have been like 8, and it was for a cheer competition. And my mom did it, and it was like I literally had purple eyeshadow, like one eye up to my eyebrow, and then the other eye was like all the way down like eyeliner, and she thought it was even. That is like literally, I'm not kidding, the only thing me and my mom would ever fight about was her doing my hair and makeup when I was a kid. Ugh. And that's actually like what got me into cosmetology, because I was like, you can't do this to me anymore. I can't walk around like this.
Next, I'm going in with a bit of a deeper shade of purple from the It's My Pleasure palette. The shade is called Sleeper. It's on the bottom right. So the deeper shade, I'm going into her outer corner, into that outer V, and I'm just taking this and blending it in using small circular motions. And again, this you want to bring upward and blend into the base color that we put onto her crease. And then I take a little bit of the excess just to blend it out even more and bring it inwards.
Me and Brie have kind of bonded over the fact that we both come from a performance background. Like I said, I was a cheerleader and dancer growing up, so I've had to like kind of do some crazy makeup looks. And she did color guard, so she also had to do like stage makeup and like bold makeup, bold hair, heavy contour, like all of.
The idea is to be able to see your face from space, unfortunately. I think one of my least favorite looks that is documented with photographs has to be,
delete those.
Yes, definitely need to be deleted. But of course, it happens to be one of my biggest milestones. For my high school graduation, I thought it was a really good idea as a super pale person with dark hair to do a light powder blue eyeshadow on my face.
Oh yes, yes. Like
Never again.
I've seen those pictures. She actually, you're cute though. So. But it's literally like a old like Claire's. Like I'm pretty sure the palette she used, I had the exact one when I was 11 from Claire's.
Yes. Like it was not cute. It was all one shade. There was no blend. I literally took a normal eyeshadow applicator that usually comes with your eyeshadow pans.
So like the little sponge ones is what she's trying to
that you just take and wipe the color on your eye, and I called it a day.
Look at how far we've come.
Thankfully, hopefully, I look like I've learned a few things along the way.
Nah. You
Still looking like a clown. Alright, so next I am going in, since we have created her base eyeshadow look, I'm going to overlay it with that purple glitter that I had spoke about before. And I am using a little bit more of a smaller fluffy brush. It's a bit more compact, but I like to use a fluffy brush because it gives me a little bit more movement as far as the glitter goes. I'm not too worried about completely compacting it to her eye. So I'm going in with this, and I'm going to use it, and I am more so going to spread it over most of her eyelid. Starting in the center, I do start by packing it on because that way I do get a little bit less fallout. And then I use the brush to kind of move it around.
I think that's a good tip to say. So I know if you're looking for almost like a metallic-y makeup look and you want that heavy glitter like compacted into one area, a good tip would be to use more of like a flatter brush, and you can even, I usually like to spray mine with like a setting powder so it's a little bit wet, and that will help the glitter. But for the look that we're going for, you kind of want it to be like an overall shimmer, would you say?
Yes. And again, these looks do require a little bit more precision, but not necessarily perfection, if that makes any kind of sense. For me, I'm a huge perfectionist, so it's something I almost had to let go in order to almost take that next step with my looks. A little bit of messiness almost helps.
Yes. I think she learned that with her hair the other day. I styled her hair, and I'm all about messy. And you can tell, like, there are some ways that we are so opposite. Like, she has like OCD and likes to be super clean, and I am like organized chaos all the time. So like I did her hair, and she was like, "You're missing a piece down here." I'm like, "I know, that's supposed to be out." Like,
it's meant to be there, Bria. Promise. So what I'm doing now that I essentially have most of the glitter where I want it is I'm just going into the center and taking a little bit extra and just kind of compacting it onto the center of her eye to draw the attention.
Oh my gosh, that eyeshadow is so pretty.
Like, it legit actually looks like how it looks in the pan.
Yeah, like a dead Disney princess.
Right. And I am actually going to take, there's a little bit of a deeper purple sparkly down it's second from the left. I'm gonna take just a little bit of that on the brush, and I'm gonna dab it on the outer corners of Jenna's eye. So this is the finished eye look. We're actually going to pop off camera and just finish Jenna's other eye, and we will be right back. All right, so now we have finished Jenna's other eye, and as you can see, I also went in just underneath her lower lid and added in a little bit of the same colors I was using just to create a little bit of that shadow underneath. And then I also packed on just a little bit of glitter on the outer corners. And to complete the eye, I am going to actually go in. It's a plain white sparkly glitter. It's just a little single, again, another little single pan. It can be added to like a build your own palette. It's a base, just a based white glitter. There's no undertones to it. And it's called Island Hopping from ColourPop. I am actually gonna go in with, it's called a smudge brush. It's a very small, almost like pencil-like. It has a point to it. I really want control over this glitter because I'm going into Jenna's inner corner of her eye. So I wanna make sure I have control of the glitter so they don't get it into her eye. And again, there's no real precision to this. You just wanna kind of dab it a little bit under and a little bit over. on the corner of your eye. Alright, so Jenna's eyes are completed, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to her smile. So for Jenna's smile, we're going to start out by having her apply a just general black lipstick. It's going to create the base for her smile. We're going in with black for the majority and we're going to overlay it with some glitter. This is just a simple black lipstick that Wet n Wild put out with their Halloween line, and it's in Eerie Onyx. It comes with this cute little packaging. So now that Jenna has her black lipstick applied, I am going to go in with a black liquid liner. I'm going to be using Tarte's Tartiste. It's actually a double-ended liner. It's got liquid and then it has a pencil on the other end. So I'm going in with the liquid side, if I can pick the right one. And I'm going to start out with creating 2 lines along the side of Jenna's smile line to extend her smile. And when I'm coming to the corner of her mouth, I matched her line here, but I took it and dragged it to almost even out her smile here so that you almost have a straight line. Because again, it's going to create a little bit more of that hook for that creepier smile.
I feel like I have like Cheshire Cat vibes.
Yes. So now that I've gone in and created these 2 lines to extend Jenna's smile, I'm going to go in and, not necessarily messy, but there's not really much precision to it. You're going to go in and just create very jagged lines going up and down the creepy smile all the way out to the ends. So I typically like to start with the bottom in the center, and I start on her lip a little bit and then just kind of drag it down. And it almost helps to let your hands even shake just a little bit. And you almost want to create different length lines, and then once I get those lines created, I'll go in and create extra little lines off of them to almost open it up and make it seem like it's taking over Jenna's smile. So now that we have finished Jenna's smile, creating the base, I'm going to go in with Wet n Wild's glitter liner. This one is a black with silver glitter inside of it, so it's just going to help create a little bit of a glittery pop to her lines. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to kind of follow the same lines I just created, but I'm not going to do it everywhere. And I'm also going to go in and just kind of cover her lips with it as well. I'm going to go in with more of a silver-based glitter, and I'm actually going to rub a little bit on my hand and pick it up with a angled, more precise brush that allows you to create a little bit of a thinner, more precise line. And I'm just going in and dabbing it on top of some of her black lines that I have smudged down. So now that we have finished Jenna's face, we're just going to go in off camera and do a little bit more finishing touches, a little bit more detail just to kind of complete the look all around. We're going to create a little bit more of those lines along her neck. I'm going to add a few into her forehead and we'll be back.
Alright, so this is the final look. We did an amazing job mixing the glam and Halloween scary style all together. I hope that this kind of inspires you, gives you some inspiration, and you guys learn something today and kind of use this and put it in your look this Halloween. Please like, comment, subscribe. Love you guys.